Hi everybody and welcome to Survival Dads. So in this video I want to put together a very basic trauma kit. I'm going to be running through the prices and offering different items obviously dependent on your budget. So this is going to be a bleeding control kit, a very basic kit at that. This is the bare minimum required to help control major bleeding as a layperson, so someone who's not professionally trained. So a first aid kit is only good if you have it with you. If you haven't got it, then you can't use it. So this is going to be, like I said, it's going to be the bare minimum, what you need to help control major bleeding. So stick around and I'll run through some different options. Okay, so the first element of the bleeding control kit that I'm going to go through is going to be wound packing, some kind of material to help pack a wound inside someone to help stop bleeding. So by packing a wound, what you're trying to do is you're trying to give the body's natural ability to clot a bit of a head start. So you're given material for that blood to congeal on and for it to coagulate and actually stop those blood vessels from bleeding anymore. So there's a variety of options available, all on different budgets, and I have written some down here. So first one is going to be improvising. This isn't ideal, but something which you have on you at all times, most of the time anyway, depends who's watching the video, is going to be clothing. So if you have nothing else available, or there are multiple injuries or people, take some clothing, tear strips and get packing into that wound. It's not going to be the cleanest thing, but that's what antibiotics are for. Your priority is saving that person's life. You can worry about germs and nasties afterwards. So if there's a deep wound which is gushing blood, get some material in there, stuff it in and apply direct pressure. So first one is going to be improvised, use some clothing. Second option I have is going to be a length of bandage. So this is a cheapy wound dressing here, and you can actually use the bandage strip here to help plug the wound. So you want to get it on your finger, get it right in there, don't be squeamish, get it right in. Cost of these is something like 50p to £1 each, so definitely a viable, cost-effective solution. Going up from there is going to be compressed gauze. This is a nice compressed piece of gauze here. This measures 4.5 inches by 4.1 yards. 6-ply cotton. As you can see, that amount of gauze goes down to a tiny bit of tiny footprint there. So this is actually ideal, and this is pretty much what it's designed for. It's designed for getting right in there and getting a lot of material packed into that wound, pushing against those blood vessels and helping to stop that bleeding. So that's the next step up. So this is compressed gauze, and this you can pick up for about £3 depending on the size. Okay, going up from there, this is the most expensive, I would say, option you have. This is Celox. This is a hemostatic agent. So this is the Celox gauze. There are a few different brands available. They'll pretty much do the same thing. Quick clot compact gauze, to name a couple. So again, what you're doing with this is you are pushing this hemostatic gauze deep into that wound channel, blocking those blood vessels and helping the body seal it itself basically. And this works two ways. It uses the actual material to help grab and congeal the blood. Also it has a hemostatic agent which helps stop bleeding by itself. So this is awesome. The thing is, they're quite expensive. You can probably pick these up, again depending on the size. This one being 10 foot by 3 inches. About £25 plus. So again, they're not cheap, but they really do save lives. Okay, so the next item that I'm going to include in this bleeding trauma control kit is going to be some kind of dressing. So the idea of a wound dressing is to help you apply direct pressure to that injury. You're going to be absorbing blood, and by doing that you're going to be helping the body stop itself from bleeding. So you're helping the body clot by giving the blood something to attach to, and combined with direct pressure is going to help slow and hopefully stop bleeding. So again, you have a number of options for this. So again, the first one we're going to start with is an improvised item. So that's going to be clothes, handkerchief, pair of trousers, anything like that. So something which you can put over a wound and you can wrap tightly to help push down and provide direct pressure. So clothing, obviously the cost of that is going to be free. Next up, I am going to suggest some basic dressings, just like these here. These are large ones, they probably run about £1. This is a typical thing that you would see in a workplace first aid kit, for example. So standard dressings there. Moving up from there, I would say something like this, or like this. So these are the military field dressings. They're a lot bigger, they can absorb a lot more blood, and generally larger and more heavy duty, especially more than these. So something like this will be the next one up. And that will probably set you up about £3-ish, depending on what style you go for. Now the best option in my opinion is going to be a decent pressure dressing, also known as an Israeli, so they're the first to come up with it. Israeli pressure dressing. Something like this. So this one is a 6-inch one. This one is going to set you back something like £6, but they are packed with features that can really help apply that direct pressure and also make it look a bit tidier as well. So a decent pressure dressing is definitely something you want to include in your kit. Okay, the other major item which I think should be included in every bleeding control kit is going to be a tourniquet. So a tourniquet is to be used on an extremity, so arms and legs, not the head or the neck. A tourniquet is to be used to help control major uncontrollable bleeding. So this is bright red blood which is squirting out of that person. That person is losing a lot of oxygenated blood very fast, possibly damage to an artery or major blood vessels, and that bleed needs to be controlled quickly before they bleed out and potentially die. So tourniquets do carry an element of risk with them, but that isn't something which you need to concern yourself about in a urban situation. Your primary focus is going to be saving that person's life. Obviously, I recommend that everyone does get some training, but a lot of agencies now are basically saying put a tourniquet on it, tie it up tight, and then get that person to hospital and they can deal with them within the few hour window where damage or irreparable damage can be done to the lower part of the extremity. But that's a topic for another video. This is about what is best to use. So again, going down the list, we've always had an improvised item, normally as clothing. Same applies here. Obviously not the best, but again, if there are multiple casualties, you want to be getting some tourniquets on, doing them up tight and helping control that major bleeding. Now the first thing that comes to mind is going to be a belt. Okay, most people have belts on them. Belts are normally pretty strong. I'm wearing a nice big leather belt here. It's perfect for getting around someone's leg or around someone's arm. So you want to put it on. I would recommend high and tight, especially in an urban situation. So put it on, pull it up tight, pull it as much as you can. It's really got to be tight. And one thing I will say, with tourniquets, You do the knot tight, and then you have this, which is called a windlass, which you then tighten up even more. I definitely recommend, if you are going for a belt or an item of clothing that you're improvising as a tourniquet, is to get something, again, improvised, which you can then make a windlass out of. This could be a strong pen. I know a lot of people carry tactical pens now. That could be one of them. That could be ideal. So what you're basically doing is you are putting even more pressure on that tourniquet, trying to restrict those blood vessels and trying to close down those arteries and veins. So there you go. First item is going to be an improvised tourniquet. Next one, obviously that's free. The next one I'm going to say is a SWAT tourniquet. There are a number of brands on the market, but that is something which I have experience and training in using. So this is a SWAT tourniquet. SWAT stands for stretch, wrap and tuck, which basically tells you how to use it, so that's pretty cool. These have a number of uses, and I have done a video on that, so feel free to check that one out. So these will set you back about £11, and these are ideal because they take up so little room. I actually always have one of these on me. So yeah, the SWAT tourniquet, about £11. Okay, moving up from there, I'm going to say a CAT tourniquet, another tourniquet that I have experience with. As I showed earlier, you have a nice strong windlass here. You can put it on, and this is ideal for self-application. This one is a bit tricky at times to put on by yourself, but this basically is designed to put on your own in a combat situation. So it's quick to deploy and is effective and time proven. These aren't cheap. There are a number of fakes on the market. This is a real one, thankfully. This will set you back around £23. So again, not cheap, but you can't put a price on your life. Okay, so moving on. They are the main components I think you need to focus on. So that's wound packing, a pressure dressing and a tourniquet. Extra things maybe to think about are a decent pair of gloves, at least one. I always carry a few, but one pair should be enough, hopefully. Another thing is a marker pen. If you put a tourniquet on someone, it's generally a good idea to write that on that person somewhere, so that when someone comes after you to provide secondary care, as you are the first responder, they know when that tourniquet was applied. Because again, when someone's given secondary care to somebody in a hospital setting or a professional is given care, they need to know when that tourniquet went on that person, because that can affect how they treat that person's extremity in the future few hours. So if you do put a tourniquet on someone, get a lipstick, get a marker pen, put a big T on their head and put the time on their cheek or something like that, so that they know that it's been applied. Another item I think is vitally important is a torch. So a torch can help you signal people, can help search people for different injuries that they might have, because it might not be that apparent at first. And also it can actually be used as a weapon. This is an incredibly bright torch, so it could actually buy you a few seconds to get yourself out of a situation. Okay, so that is it. Those are my items that I recommend everyone has with them, especially if you're going to a higher risk environment like an inner city or a major tourist hotspot. Doesn't have to take up a lot of room, don't have to carry a huge bag around with you, but having a few choice items on your person can truly save you or someone else's life. Obviously, if possible, carry multiples. One of these dressings is good enough for one injury on one person. So if you have room and if you have space, carry multiple. But if not, just carry one of each. Again, it can truly save you or someone else's life. So thanks for watching, stay safe, stay vigilant, and I'll see you soon.